What's up, guys? It's Black and back with some more RA content. Last week we were doing the RAGL finals, and I hope you all enjoyed that. This time, however, we're going to go into RAGL in review, which is a fancy way of saying we're going to see my first-person point of view through all the games that I played this season, as well as a little commentary on top while the game's going on. So I think it's going to be pretty good, and we'll jump into game one with Cav. Alright, while we get this game started up in the early game, I'm going to talk about preseason, all that stuff. This season was actually really weird, looking back on it now. I did not expect to actually play in the playoffs if I made it there. I was supposed to have surgery, and I let Triple T know before the season even started and said, hey, I'm supposed to have surgery scheduled. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. Obviously, I'm going to try, but I might have to forfeit if it happens to be on those exact weeks, which the schedule as it stood was. But, things changed, so I tried anyways. But that kind of left me in like a really weird spot where I wasn't expecting to, go all the way or anything like that. So I kind of was like really rusty. And the really interesting was I thought like the other top players were like Fazard and Cav were also super rusty. I'd seen a few Cav games in Rattle, which was going on at the same time, and he looked pretty rusty there with Stitch. And then Fazard, even though he was grinding the ladder, he kind of looked like he was off his game too. So it was definitely really weird that way. And at the same time, like, the skill level in Masters this season was actually, like, pretty good. Probably the best we've had in a while. People like Justin Guy snuck in there, Eugenitor, aka Derry, was back. Mint was finally in Masters as his first season. And then you had the usuals, your Unana, who always sneaks into playoffs somehow, Andrew, who takes games off players. And then, like, Mo, Sigil, and Duke Bones can also take games off good players, too, so I think even though people kind of thought the top four would be like me, Korea, Cav, and Fazar, any of those other players could steal a game off us or like 2 games off us and really change the dynamic there. And you could easily see somebody like me missing the playoffs just because I lost to Unano and Mint, and then suddenly, Mint was in the playoffs taking my spot. So there's a lot closer in skill level than it's been in a lot of seasons. That was really nice to see, but it's definitely a very weird start. I think I delayed the first 3 weeks anyways, just because I couldn't play them. And I was pretty much gone, so it was like pretty rusty, and it definitely shows a lot during this game. I pretty much jumped in with Cav, who I think I might have already said, but I was supposed to play him at the end of the season, but I ended up playing him as my first game of the season, which is not the best thing to do when you're rusty. But yeah, it was a very rough starting and lots of stops and goes in RAGL this season, which is kind of weird, which made it really weird, but it is what it is sometimes. So yeah, back actually to the game stuff now. Doing my War Factory cell, which, it's Duskwood, which is pretty common. I mean, nobody's going to get to your main base anytime soon. You got that nice little FCOM with a gem mine there, so there you go there. Cav sniped my rifle in the bottom left earlier, so I had to go up to the top. So I just go ahead and grab that comm center, which is always nice to have. I'd rather have it Will Derek just because the extra money, because as you can see I'm stalling, but, Cav's got some infantry there and clean it up nice, so my early game's not too bad right now. I mean, it's kind of hard to screw up your early game that much, even if you're rusty, but, it's totally possible, and I'm sure you'll see it at some point. Yeah, I'm stalling here, which is not great, and that's just because I was building a little bit too much, but try to get this old Derek up here, but Cap's got a 5-stack there, so I said, alright, well, I've got some units, I got some light tanks out here, I'll just move out. My third raft's finally coming down, so we can get these gems harvested. Trying to clear out the ore and the gems so it starts that regrowth a little bit quicker. And I'm just getting those light tanks in position. I've got like 4 rockets there. That's enough to pressure just a little bit, especially since I know that he doesn't have all of his infantry right there. At least a few of them are in the corner, so I could probably have the armor advantage there. But you can see I've already kind of screwed up my build order and did not queue any building after that racks. So now my building is just idle, but I'm getting a decent engagement here. Somehow only killed 1 rocket there, which kind of sucks because both my light tanks go down, but it's alright. I've got enough to push through here, kill the FCOM, and see a few rifles there, clean them up, go back and kill the refinery since, that's going to be a big win for me. Try to save the medics, I see some more rifles coming in, so I pull those away, let the rockets finish the building, which is poor timing because that's exactly when his infantry shows up, so all my rockets missed 8 APC, he's going to get an easy kill there, but I did trade out fairly well, killing the refinery and the FCOM's a pretty nice little win there, and he doesn't have any pressure on me, so had I been building an SD and stuff like that, I'd been fine, but as you can see, I pretty much stalled out for a long time there, just now to 3 racks, still not going to build an SD, I might as well just build more racks at this rate, more light tanks. Yeah, that's not something that should happen if you're on your game. That's just a dumb mistake, but this is the best way out of it, is just kind of macro up instead of trying to build that SD and just be further and further behind. Yeah, I did kill his ref, so he's probably a little bit behind on eco there, but at the same time I also sacrificed a lot of army to do so when he didn't, so he's going to have an army advantage there, so I have to be really careful. I'm going to move out my main MCV because there's no reason to stop and build the SD, especially when I have that close ORA patch, I mean especially on this map too. Once again, I'm just going to keep the pressure on him. The only place he could really attack me is my FCOM, or if he was really bold and trying to go from MC, which he did, it'd probably just be game over for me. But I'm going to place my MC, get a power plant, and ref, and more reps again. I'm just going to forego that SD for a long time now. See his army up there on the top right with my FCOM, so that's nice to see. So I can pull those infantry back. And I know since he has a big army there that I could probably go in here, attack this again. See that he has another ref and a harvester there, so Harvester's going to get away, but you know, killing that refinery is going to be nice. And at the same time, I'm kind of prepping for that back attack, although his army has not shown up, so I assume he retreated. But alright, I'm having a decent engagement here. See more string of army. I can keep pushing in. So I'm going to try to combine my armies now, since I'm wondering where that second army is. Still pushing in, so you see nothing. Fortunately, my power plant got placed up north because I was kind of in a hurry, which means I had to cancel that ref again, which is now behind there. Finally, Cav's army shows up, and he's got a pretty good engagement here. All my rockets, for some reason, got killed, except for one. Barely going to get that heavy tank, but still traded out so much army just for that. Once again, my light tanks are a little bit ahead, so I have to pull them back. And I got enough here, but he's still going to have a pretty good engagement here, and I'm going to have kind of an even engagement. The light tank's doing pretty good, but eventually the army's going to get cleaned up, and there's another heavy tank and an APC, so that's all dead. So I'm going to trade the rest of my forces. Transfer our harves. That ref's still not out yet, and it's minute 6.5, so that's kind of bad. Same time, just going to try to see if I can get that engineer in, but make sure I scout first. And I'm still on light tanks here, which is not great at all. The good thing is I have kept him on the defensive, where, you know, he could have attacked me with an army, but for some reason he retreated. Maybe he didn't feel like he could stop it once he saw what I had there, but it's honestly a little bit of saving grace. Once again, that rifle scouts the heavy tank, so I know he's probably counting over there. So just go ahead and try to attack his natural, since he's probably either taking my natural expansion over there or just kind of attacking there. Once again, I'm just going to keep defending that FCOM center. See, a rifle over there. I don't know what he killed that he got vet 3 on, but nothing too big. Place a turret down because it's always nice. And it's perfect timing as his heavy tanks show up. And he really doesn't have that much here. He's got 2 rockets so far, and I've sniped both of them. And yeah, the heavy tanks are doing great armor because I don't have any rockets there, but that's really slowing him down. And more of his rockets are getting sniped out. I'm cutting off the reinforcements. And he really hasn't killed much here except for 3 pillboxes and a turret now. And yeah, his whole army right there just kind of got crushed, and that was not a great attack. Definitely if he had attacked anywhere else it would have been better, but not a great attack by him. His heavy tanks get some okay switches on the way out, but eventually they do all go down. My SD is finally out. And I'm finally going to switch to the start medium tanks here, but it's minute 8. That's super low. So that was a nice little engagement that kind of got me back in this game, I think. I was a little bit behind for sure, just especially in the army count. Maybe a little bit ahead in the eco just because I kept sniping and stuff, but yeah, so now I'm just going to go back and try to capture his natural expo, since I don't see anything on mine. Of course, always going to start a scout, make sure these 2 rifles go down so I can cover that engineer, because that's always important. You don't want to lose an engineer just to 1 rifle just because it's standing there guarding it. Always send some scouts to check out your enemy oil derricks. See a rifle over here, and I don't see any MCV there, so I'm going to go ahead and try to kill the comm center just in case he has it, which of course in a second here he doesn't. But I got a second war factory out now, and I'm starting to get in the groove of the game a little bit, but it's definitely not a good feeling for this game. It was definitely very sluggish, the bad build order and all that stuff. So I have no idea where his army is right now, so I'm just kind of defending. So those 2 rifles in, no rifle there, so my engineer can finally get in, that's cool. See another scout there, I'll just go ahead and pick it off. He retreats for some reason, I think it's just bad timing on his part. But I've got a decent sized army right now, and I'm just really deathballing this game. I haven't kind of split at all, and that's just what I'm going to keep doing. Since I finally see his army over there, said okay, you know, I can go poke north. Got a second MCV out, but I'll support that with my army. At the same time, I'll just rally everything down to the south, because that's probably where he's going to hit. See that he's got a flame tower there, so I'm like, okay, finally, he did expand here, cool. This is definitely what I want to hit, since his natural expo is going to be dry, and the gem mine should be dry at this point. Got Tesla tanks, so I moved the light tanks and started hitting the MCV, so if he tries to run away, it's just going to get his killed. Tesla tank goes down, the refiner goes down. Nope. MCV is definitely going to die in a second here, and at the same time, he's finally attacking me. Got decent angle on my pillboxes. Sure, it's not going to do much, but it's going to delay him a little bit. Looks like he sells off his expansion there, just trying to get as much money recuperated as he can. But my expansion is definitely overrun here, so I'm going to have to retreat the MCV away. At the same time, we've got a huge army. I'm going to be able to keep pushing in on his natural expert now. Good pillbox placement there is nice and out of the way. Going to get a good chunk of infantry. My SD goes down again, so once again, back to light tanks, but at this rate, it's kind of okay. Bad engagement here on my part, that tanks are in the back and way out of position, but I just have the numbers to get through. Once again, he's pushing through my expo. The MC's barely going to get away. I think if he just moved his heavy tanks, he could have lived, but... So I'm still just pushing here, killing the buildings as I go, because I don't want to be in his vision. I've got the tank advantage and the numbers advantage, so I want to keep that alive as much as possible. Try my best to just stall and wait here, place that pillbox a little bit too far in the front, gets one rocket, but about as best I can do. No crushes there, just one rocket on the very end, so once again losing a bunch there. He pulls all of his harvest here because I think he knows he's in trouble, and for some reason I still have that one medium tank out there, like way out of position. It's actually going to help me. So I'm trying to defend my war factory here as much as possible, no MCV radius, so I'm just going to keep pushing into his base, and he's definitely slowly losing. I think his push kind of ran out of steam. It's, you know, got a few heavy tanks left from the very low health. Got one heavy tank down, second heavy tank is going to go down, there comes a third that's also low health and I'm going to kill it, but I'm in the heart of his base too. Kill a power plant, focus on the SD next, just because I don't want any heavy tanks coming out. Try to move my units outside of that flame tower radius too, but kind of missed. Then saw that his army was pretty much cleaned up there. I think it's just my rifles slowly killed him because they were in vision. Restart my infantry queue because I totally forgot about that because I was messing this game. And look up, saw that I killed his MCV, so he shouldn't have a second MCV since I killed both of them before he sold the one off earlier. Get the SD back out, back to medium tanks, and there's GG from him. So just a really kind of sloppy game from both of us, and just kind of evident of where we were, like just really rusty. And I think it shows that Cav was rusty now. It definitely felt rusty. That early order build mistakes is not something that should happen. It's just like he had that really bad attack, and then after that it was just kind of almost a base trade. It's just I had more army at that rate. So yeah, kind of a nasty game one, and we'll go to game two. Alright, so we're back here in game two on intensity. Not a big fan of this map. It's from LAD. It's very low eco. It's very weird low eco. You can kind of see your starting order on the left side is really sparse and not really densely populated, I guess. You have to be really on top of your harvester micro in this game. And considering that I'm rusty, I'm going to go ahead and throw it now. I was not up to that. I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes. But I'm going engineer first and getting my 18 rifles afterwards. Should totally be able to get my own oil derrick. It's never going to be a problem. Even on a map like this, I mean, unless maybe he goes like a dog first, but I don't think I've ever actually seen Cav do that, so not something I would expect out of him. But just gonna get those rifles out, get that double ref going, and then just kind of transition the game from there. Although I did decide that I kind of wanted to press Cav's oil derrick a little bit early, not to try to steal it to prevent it from getting captured, because I just don't think that's possible, but just to kind of, you know, keep the pressure on him. If I can kill out one oil derrick on this map, since I know it is low eco, it does make a huge difference. So I spin a lot of my rifles over to the right side, and just 5 to protect my own derrick, just in case he's trying to do something similar to me. But I get mine pretty freely. I'm going to go ahead and send a few of those rifles in to see if I can snipe out some rockets that are coming out early or anything like that. And the rest of them I just kind of want to see if I can intercept on the back end of his oil derrick, but see he has 1 scout there, so I send 3 back. Kind of figured out that 3 is like the minimum you want to send rifles around with, since they'll 2-shot any rifle that you come across. It just saves their survivability much better than like 1 rifle or 2 rifles will do. Just cuts that defender's advantage down really good too. Puts in those 2 rifles to the back, those 3 rifles to see if we can snag some rockets. And then once they're kind of close, I move in. Unfortunately, Cav's got plenty of rifles there, and that attack goes so bad, it's not even funny, and I lose everything there. So I gotta replace those rifles because you can't have a game without those early rifles. And those 3 rifles down here are gonna go see if they can catch any rockets, because they should be coming out right about now, maybe a little bit earlier. Engineer's just gonna go screw off into the middle of no man's land because he has no thing to do right now. Unfortunately, did not build a second power plant, and I sold the wrong ref there, so my eco is going to be so bad. And because of where I placed that ore factory, I'm not going to be able to properly crawl to my other ore patch, so I'm definitely screwed. So now I have to build another barracks just to get over there. I could have built another power plant, I guess, that'd have been a little quicker, but you know, I'm going to need the barracks anyway, so building that's not going to set me too far behind. But Cavs now going to just kill my other, which isn't going to hurt my eco even more. And got the second barracks out, so I can finally come over there, but I can't build anything yet since I only have 3 harvesters. And I'm going to stall out on 3 harvesters since it's going to take so long for that harvester to finally get to that ref. So this is really bad. Yeah, this is something that shouldn't happen, and just a side effect of being stupid rusty. But yeah, selling that ref, I mean, doing the ref selling this one was not what I wanted to do anyways, but selling the closer ref was definitely a big mistake. And then again, since this map is so sparsely populated on the eco side, like, the harvester's just taking extra long, and it's 3:30 and I still don't have my 3rd ref out right now, and I should be about a minute away from the expo. So that's not great at all. Finally get that 3rd ref out. 5th harvester is transferred over there on a decent time at least, so that will help salvage my eco just a little bit, but I'm still gonna... I can't really build infantry at this time since my harvester is just taking so long. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna queue up as much as I can, but you can see I'm constantly running out. Engineer is hiding in his ore just in case he does decide to leave an MCV there unprotected. It's very unlikely, but you never know. MCV is gonna be coming out soon. I have to go 3 flaks just because, once again, my build order is completely messed up, but 3 flaks is not terrible. MCV finally comes out, and I'm gonna queue up some heavy tanks afterwards, of course. You gotta go MCV first since I really need eco. But as you can see, my eco is still just stalling out, and I'm pretty much harvested all of my eco. There's a little bit down on that bottom left line, a little bit on the top, but it's not enough to just sustain me. I'm gonna keep stalling out until I get into the ref out. Checking here with the flak to see if he's got any MCV coming, and I do see the MCV. Fortunately, the ranger and the rifle there, I couldn't really prevent the MCV from deploying, but that's okay because I had the engineer anyways. But unfortunately, his whole army's there, so just gonna poke with that flak as much as I can. Try to capture that MCV. If I somehow get lucky, that'd be a great win, but nope, he's got it just enough there. I don't even think I get the ranger, so that flak tried its best, but it's dead. MCV's finally out, and I'm building a ref. I decide to cancel it and build it with the MCV deployed, so that saves 5 seconds. Unfortunately, I'm out of cash, so it really didn't matter anyways. Probably would have been better off not doing that. But I'm just going to try to go to this close mine just because I know I need the cash, and I'll just build a second ref instantly and move out again. But I just, unfortunately, I'm stalling so much that it's 5 minutes in and I still don't have a tank. I still don't have an expansion. I know that I'm a minute behind on Cav's expansion now since he was out about 5 minutes, so it's a really rough game for me. I'm not happy with this one at all. Transfer my harvest too since there's nothing left for them, but they're going to pretty much locust harvest that patch anyways, but that's okay because I'm going to move instantly. It's just slowly waiting to get that MCV moving again. I'm trying my best here, but it's just, there's not much I can do. I still don't even have a heavy tank out and it's 6 minutes in. That's not great at all. Those harvs are just struggling because of bad ref placement there again, so that's just even further slowing down my eco. And of course, he's got a scout there, so luckily for me, he wasn't paying attention and that scout wasn't able to block my SV, but don't have much in the way of defending there. I mean, my army's not in a bad position if he does try to come across there, but the problem is I just don't have a good place to spot my ref there. And once again, those 3 harvs are already locust harvs, and of course I have 1 heavy tank out, there's 2 medium tanks in the back, and that's how far ahead Cav was this game. He could split off 2 tanks and still be ahead in tank count, which is, you know, it can happen as allies a little bit, but it shouldn't be happening to that big of a margin. His last tank shot, barely going to get the harvester. and I haven't even killed one of those tanks yet. And since he has a scout there, he knows that I've expanded there finally, so his army's going to be coming down there. I'm going to try to cut off these 2 tanks, just in case he dies from main, since he knows pretty much what he saw there with my medium tanks too, and I think that's what he's trying to do there, is just poke back and see what I actually have. Of course, he sees my Harvs transferring and gets one, and he's attacking my Expo right now, and that's pretty much my only Expo since my other one's already dry. And yeah, there's 3 medium tanks there. I can't really do much against that. Can't place a power plant there since that MSV is probably forfeit. Gonna try my best here and just save that ref if I can. But unfortunately, I have such a terrible attack angle right here, right next to the cliff, where my army is pretty much going to get analyzed, completely chewed up, and my heavy tanks are in the back. So I just go said LOL because I know that was such a bad attack and there's not really much I can do. This game is definitely over at this rate. He killed all of my army for like half of his, because I know that wasn't his whole army at all. And yeah, still broke. But hey, I've got, you know, some vetted infantry, so that's nice. Got that going for me. And I have 1 heavy tank left. And this is where I just tell him, yeah, I screwed up my eco, like, very early in the game. Selling that ref is kind of what started it, and just we all snowballed out of there, which that can happen in these types of games. That Cav's going to do the right thing and just attack me again, and I can't do anything because once again my tank's in the back, but a little bit less my fault there, more just timing. But my whole army's dead, and I can't stop that, so it's game. And you can just see how much more Cav had, even though he never expanded again. I mean, he took his natural expo and then the 1 single mine, and that's all he needed just to crush me there. So yeah, that game sucked. I did not like the map. That map became permaban for me just because I didn't want to deal with that low eco stuff again. And I think this really drives down the point. If you look at the graph, at 3 minutes I'm about 3,000 behind Mako, which is pretty abysmal. I don't know how I actually overtook Cav at minute 5. I think maybe it was the solar disruption I had when it's expansion MCV, but you can see after that it just got worse and worse and worse, and by minute 8 when the game's over he's a good 6k ahead in eco, and that's just, it's not acceptable. You're not going to win with that. So yeah, that sucked. We'll jump into the week after games because I'm probably going to do 2 matches or 2 weeks in a video, and it's going to be Mo next time. Alright, so we're back here for my second matchup of the season against Admiral Mo on a non-water map where I'm Dustwood again. This happened 1 day after the games against Cav, so I was still definitely pretty rusty, not in really good form. Fortunately for me, Mo is a extremely passive player, so that's kind of what you want as a rusty player. Somebody's not going to press you and make you make mistakes. They're going to be very forgiving in that regard. And then in the same vein, having Mo allowed me to kind of practice something that I wanted to always try, which is a Tesla tank rush, but with Ukraine. So instead of Tesla tanks, I'm just going to go straight and get that IC as quickly as possible and use APCs instead, which is kind of why I think that nerfing Tesla tanks, if you take away the crushing, doesn't matter that much, or rather, it's not going to fix it. You know, people can still use Tesla tank rush without Tesla tanks. Yeah, Tesla tanks have good DPS in the early game like that, but it's not the crushing that makes them so good, it's the IC. So, you know, if you don't have crushing there, then you can just use APCs and get pretty much the same effect. I mean, honestly, you could probably build a Tesla tank or 2 just if you wanted the sniping power and IC your stuff anyways. I don't think that's what's going to fix the issue, but, you know, it is what it is. So, back on Dustwood, so that's what I'm going to try here. Triple ref into Raider Dome, into Tech Center, move out my MCV, place a ref, power plant, and the IC, and then start to get rolling there. Just going to go ahead and send 2 rifles over to my corner roll there, just trying to protect it. I also like, if you saw in the very beginning, just building 2 Grens or 3 rifles of my allies just to kill that sandbag, and it gets you like a 10-second quicker capture on that oil derrick, which can be helpful. Like, you know, that's a few $100 extra that you're going to have, and it's going to save your engineer if somebody goes like for a dog rush or something like that, because your engineer is going to be pretty safe. But since I'm triple refing, I can pretty much start my infantry queue now, since my ref is about halfway done. I'm not going to stall anytime soon. Killing his rifle scout on my oil derrick, which is always nice. I think my grenadiers went and sniped his comm center afterwards, which is another great way of or use of grenadiers on this map after you kill that sandbag, just to keep that comm center dead. Same time, just gonna go rally those grenadiers all the way around just to see if I can snipe out his oil derrick, because why not? You know, they've more than served their use at this rate. Trying to fix my harvesters here because they like just go to the wrong ref all the time. It's super annoying. I'm just rallying all my stuff to FCOM because that's pretty much the only place I'm going to get attacked. I don't think I've ever seen somebody dive the main route early in the game. It's just not really feasible. But Engineer's going to get that older nice and safely since my rifles were guarding it. I'm going to send one to the back just in case he does try to capture it later, and then rally the Engineer all the way back into my base to get that comm center later. But I'm about halfway done with my War Factory out. Once that's out, I should go straight into APC since it's all I'm going to need. And then I'll just keep my infantry queue nice and neat the entire time. Probably 10-5 is good for the strategy since you do want the extra armor. Or I mean, if you're going to have a really quick IC, like you're not even going to move that APC out before it's active, you could probably just do 15-5 just because your APCs are going to be all of your armor, and you don't really need to kill the armor if your armor can't die. But my Grenadiers managed to get his oil there, so I'm just going to retreat away, so that was a nice little bonus grab for them there. Same time, just going to try to scout his base since it is Mo. He is super passive, but you never know what he's got playing back there. There's not enough more on this map for naval, but you know, if there's a will, there's a way, right? Building out my harvesters to get that harvester count where it needs to be, because you're still going to need eco doing this kind of build. And weird thing I did here is I queued up flax, and I shouldn't have. Like I said earlier, it should be APCs, but for some reason I queued flax, and I think that's just a holdover of the Tesla tank build, since APCs are not as good in the Tesla tank build since you already have it armored. But, you know, again, it is what it is. No scouts there with the ABC. I think he tried to push in a little bit, but nothing happens there. Fortunately, he's got a rifle on that comm center. And I send my 2 Grenadiers in to try to kill it, but they're just going to die on the rifle anyways. So they had a glorious start and a kind of a invisible win, but that's okay. Gonna send one more rifle and just force fire since that should give me the win there since he's at health now. Finally switching to the APCs like I should be. And the tech center is almost out. The nice thing about this tech center is I don't need to build that Tesla coil, which does save me about 1200. It's not significant so much since you shouldn't be close to broke then, but there are some maps where it's like Tesla Russian's kind of touch or go from the eco department. So if you can save 1200 there on not having to do a Tesla coil, it can make it a little more viable. We'd have to see on these map like that, but I can see that Mo did capture my comm center right there. That's fine. I'll just go ahead and decap it. Got my APCs coming out now. Got a flak out here, which is nice for the scouting. Should be keeping my flanks nice and secure here since I'm going to death ball pretty hard. Once those APCs get out and good number, I'll be able to start moving out. Get the IC going, get the ref going, get the power plant going. I'm going to build 2 of them, then I'm going to transition to more Raxes just because I know that I'm going to need them. And he kills my engineer and the rifle down there, so that's unfortunate, but I'll split off a little bit of my force just to go kill it. I don't really need that at comm center, it's just nice for the flanks if you did try to wide flank on that side. Ref's about 3/4 of the way done. Gonna think about transferring here, trying to find the right one. Don't want to interrupt them while they're harvesting. Look, I like using the ones that are full so they can just deposit and then go rather than wasting, you know, precious money that's traveling across rather than gathering. Got the IC out, power down, got another 10 seconds left on that power plant before it goes out. Kill the comm center. Just retreat that army back, so now he's in the dark there. He does know that I have a significant army there, but 2 APCs is enough to really tell him anything. Mo not really scouting at all this game, which again he's passive, so wouldn't expect him to anyways, but he had no idea this was coming. It is risky for me to start moving out here, just in case he did attack my expo, but I was fairly confident since my 2 flax over there hadn't spotted anything that I could move out. The problem is I'm still a minute and 40 away from that IC out, so if I get into early engagement right now, he could just wipe me away and I wouldn't have enough afterwards to survive. But so far so good. He's not taking my expo down there, which is nice. I think that civilian is neutral since none of my troops are shooting at it, which is great. And, you know, Mo's just kind of sitting back in his base doing Mo things. I got the airfield out since I am Ukraine, might as well just get those parabombs running again. See a little scout there, killed it. See an APC there. Oh, okay, there's a big chunk of his army. Cool, I'll just rally everything there, and that should be cue for me to be able to push into the bottom, even though my IC is still limited out. And, yep, now I've revealed my attack, but he's got nothing here. I can see that he's got an MCV somewhere since the flame tower went down, but getting a pretty decent engagement here right now. He's kind of light on rockets, and I don't know why. Yeah, I've got 3 APC still. Killed a lot of his infantry right there. I'm still more than happy to push in right now. Another flame tower goes down and it's gonna pop. I think he gets 2 more good shots. Still scouting on the top, just make sure he's not coming in there. Yep, there's the rest of his army finally retreating in, but I've still got 3 APCs, so I'm gonna trade out okay here. See that he finally does have a good rocket count, just wasn't with him on that one. Sending more APCs in, see if I can get some crushes since I do need some armor down there. And I get decent crushes right there, just enough to kind of make that army trade out just a little bit better than it should have. Got a small little detachment hitting his expansion over there, which is nice. And I'm transitioning into heavy tanks now after the MCV comes out, since the IPCs kind of serve their purpose. However, yeah, I've never used an IC yet, so that whole attack could have been just waited, and now I could attack with the IC and I'll probably just end the game. It's kind of me jumping the gun and again being rusty, not really thinking with my head. And I'm attacking here, trying to kill that MCV and just sacking that army, but I'm fairly certain I'm still a little bit ahead. I mean, he might have army on me, but I do have that IC ready, so if he did attack this little engagement there, that's probably just enough to scare him away. And he's going to go in here, get the APC off on that one, and that APC is just going to go and crush. The rest of the army is just going to slowly work on that flame tower. That APC is getting some really good crushes. Gets great crushes right there, great crushes again. Actually gets up to Vet 2 in just a second there, so that tells you all you need to know about how many crushes you got. And yeah, Mo got routed there. And he's still got a lot of flame towers, so I have to be careful there. I'm trying to take him out as best I can. They go down, his SV is going to retreat. Try to poke it out at camp, it's going to get away. And I can't really run those APCs away. I need to keep them for that flame tower because easy flame towers on my troops would kill me. The APC is going to go back to repairs, barely gets away. The second one does not. The rest of those troops are probably just going to die. But they are trading out alright since his heavy tank took a little time to get there. And unfortunately that little secondary army was dead. Spy plane comes in just to let me know that my army's dead. And deciding now, okay, I've used my IC, I still got some APCs, probably should transition into Mammoth tanks again since I know I'm going to be ahead in the tech. And if you're ahead in tech, Mammoths can be really good since they're a dual purpose unit. Although, honestly, I'd still probably be better off just using heavy tanks, since he is Soviets, and it sounds kind of counterintuitive since allies have mobile radar jammers, but Mammoth tanks against Soviets are worse than Mammoth tanks against allies, even with the radar jammers. Radar jammers are a very weird unit where you have to use them really well for them to counter Mammoth tanks, and if you just kind of place them in the front, the Mammoth tanks will chew through them, and literally the advantages are totally gone, so... Poking in here once again, but Mo's on top of it this time. So now I'm just trying to place these APCs up. Keep him kind of chasing me a little bit since I know that IC is only 20 seconds away. If I can get 3 of those APCs IC, then that'll easily crush that army. Also floating 9k because I forgot to build my infantry right there, which is not great. Unfortunately, he attacks me a little bit before I'm too ready, so just have to run those APC in, hope for some good crushes. And I got some decent crushes there. I think I killed at least 10, 15. That's going to let that army trade out a little bit better. Killed one more heavy tank there, and the rest of the army is probably forfeit. Just going to poke a little bit on the south with that bottom army, but I really need to defend up here in the middle, since that's likely where he's going to attack. But if I can scare him off with this bottom army and maybe keep him on the back foot, that would be really good. He shouldn't. He should definitely just attack, but we'll have to see what he does. Bottom arm looks like it's going to get at least a harvester or 2, which is really nice. That's probably all of his eco at this time since I don't see any ref on the top. Get one of those harvesters, and then I see here a Tesla coil. So I'm just going to keep that army parked on the backside of the ORA. Maybe they can poke out a rifle or a harvester if it comes across. Start to build yaks, and then second gun myself and say, nah, I should just build some MiGs. Feeling pretty comfortable. And I'm ahead in this game, I know that. See that army poke in the bottom. It's just a heavy tank and 2 rockets. Nothing to be too scared of right now, but okay, 2 heavy tanks and some rockets. Maybe he's got some more armor there. Gonna have to rally everything back. Fortunately, I got a Tesla coil coming anyways, which is nice. And I got that IC if I absolutely need it. But see him attack my little expansion with the FCOM there. That's definitely the majority of his army. But I should be pretty fine. I got the Tesla, or I got the Iron Curtain ready. I got parabombs if really need them, and I got paratroopers and everything, so a little bit of preemptive IC. Could have got that APC in there. That would have been really nice to run down his infantry, but that's going to force him away. I don't, all he really got there was a ref, and I think maybe a rack, so nothing too big. Tried for the Hail Mary parabombs, and it was definitely a long shot, but it was actually so close. If he had just gone to the south more, I think I actually would have got the majority of that army, but Oh well, you can't always win with parry bombs. But now I'm gonna death ball. My MiG unfortunately was on attack move, and I think I accidentally clicked that rifle, so it's not gonna be able to kill that harvester, but I'm still gonna be able to poke at it down to like red health. Drop parry bombs in the back of the ORA, so that's always smart. There's a spy plane in the middle, just save his armies there, but my MiG catches it, knows that he's retreating to his expansion, that's fine. Gotta move this MCV back up, place it on the gem mine since that's all he killed in that one attack. Get those two map tanks in front, restart my infantry queue, because once again I'm floating way too high and I shouldn't be. I'm just going to spend a little extra time to get a lot of queue in rather than try to have to constantly go back to it. Place the ref, move the MCV back since I'm not so worried about an attack in the middle anymore, I'm more worried about all my expansion. And yeah, it's time to push in. IC's in 45 seconds, got 2 MiGs out now, so I'm going to be able to kill some harvesters for sure. Unfortunately, I run into his army a little bit too preemptive there, but you know, Mam Tank and those custom missiles are really nice for exposed infantry. There's a flak, so I have to carefully micro those MiGs out. He almost gets it. I got very lucky there that he didn't, and then I got pretty lucky here that he wasn't on top of that flak. Managed to snipe out with the MiGs and just go back for the harvesters. Mam Tanks are gonna Mam Tanks, so of course they're in the back of my infantry because they're so slow. One of those MiGs does go down because it barely got touched by a rocket and MiGs have no health. But that's alright, I've pretty much done the job there. Pushed through, killed his army, killed the testicle, and I'm going to kill all the rest of his harvesters there. Notice his engineer just chilling in the back there, so I sent a MiG to kill it, which is not the greatest use of MiG ammo, but you know, what else are you going to do? Still floating 12k somehow, and that's probably just because I don't have enough infantry production. Another IC on those Mam Tanks. I'm just going to slowly walk him forward. He's not retreating because those must be occupied somewhere else, which is totally fine by me since I'll just clean all that up for free. See his MCV, going to target that down. This other armor here is going to push down on the bottom. And yeah, Mo's just kind of, he's out of this game now, I think. Fairly certain that I'm comfortable ahead and going to move that MCV, just take the expansion, just sure. That's what you want to do, you always want to keep the pressure on. Don't want to let up at any chance, that's how you get people back into this game. And I'm just going to rally everything together, keep pushing on the bottom, kill the Raider Dome, because I'm going to reset his tech if I can. He's got 2 testicles there, I think he got 3, I'll probably lose some Mam Tank, that's fine. And once again, Mam Tank's in the back, because Mam Tank's going to do what Mam Tanks do. But, you know, there's only so much you can do. Build a Rex in the War Factory at his expansion, so if he does try to take that back, it's going to be that much harder. Try to attack his MCV, but I misclicked, and I'm just going to treat those Mam Tanks back, which is perfect, because Tusk outrange infantry, and they can totally just kite like that. Finally realize I missed the MCV, going to kill it. And he's attacking there. Got more Mam Tanks that I can just slowly walk back. And he calls it GG, so that game went pretty much how I wanted. I still wasn't very happy with it, just how rusty I felt and how off I felt. Building the flags when I needed APCs in the very beginning was kind of dumb, and you know, ended up working out in my favor, but against like a more aggressive opponent, I don't think that would have flied. So yeah, we'll jump into game 2. Alright, so we're back here for game 2 against Mo on Yukon territory, the temperate edition, because Fazar is colorblind, he can't see on snow maps. That's fine. It's kind of weird that we're playing on it. I think we should probably be forced to use the snow maps, but it's not that much of a difference. Maybe it helps people be less blinded by the snow maps, I guess. But yeah, so game 2 against Mo, I'm expecting to be pretty passive again. I don't think that's ever going to change, so I'm going to try to be kind of aggressive here and go medic first into 15 rifles, or actually 16, and then push that oligarch of his, see if I can just snipe off the engineer or anything like that. The pathfinding in this release is doing weird stuff, especially on this map for some reason, where his engineer really wants to just run towards that road right where I'm rallying all my troops, so he just sends his engineer on a, capture the oligarch run, it'll go there, and I don't know why he does that. It's super weird. So it's something to be mindful on this map, especially with this news. Hopefully that'll eventually get fixed, because it's only the engineer that does that. The rifles will go straight, so I have no idea what's going on there, but yeah, I'm not going to do anything fancy here, just my normal build order, other than the early aggressive push by onto his Olderic, but haven't caught an engineer yet, so probably either missed it, or he's not sending an engineer, 1 or 2, I'll have to find out. just send one rifle to protect my engineer since it's always smart, and I don't really need that extra rifle down here anyways. Push down a little bit further just to see if his engineer was for some reason late. It was not. See one rifle there, instantly killed. That's nice to see. Got my second ref out, keeping my harvesters going, get him properly queued. See that it's not captured there, so now I'm wondering if he's doing something I'm doing actually. But my army's definitely out of position to save my engineer, so I'm just gonna have to shoot that engineer back and send it all the way down. In the meantime, might as well take my army and just poke at his base, see if he's got some early rockets coming out. Maybe catch him off if he went for a War Factory Reverse type build and I could snipe a power plant. Same time, I'm also building a few rifles on my base, just in case he is perfectly mirroring me and expecting to do the same thing. I'm also just going to send that one rifle forward, just to get a good view before I actually commit to going in. Fortunately, I don't see his racks or anything like that, just see a refinery. I only see the power plant, but my rifle instantly gets sniped, unfortunately. And I'm losing 3 rifles to down right now, 4. Looks like I might have come out even there, but catch some more of his rifles, and with the medic there, it's actually nice and I'm healing up. Although I think he actually saw my medic. But with the vision advantage there, I got to poke out, so we've traded pretty much evenly there. Nothing too wasted or lost there. My engineer is finally going to capture down the bottom, and I got some of those survivings just to rally back there. But once again, I kind of messed up my build order again. At least I'm crawling properly this time. The only way I really messed up is I just forgot to build the SD again. And again, it's a rusty thing, so once again, to get back into the game, I'm just gonna cancel that SD and just build some more Raxes and some light vehicles, and just kind of try to keep myself ahead, or get ahead in the army department since I'm going to be behind the Eco department if I'm playing against a perfect player. Got the oil there captured, just gonna retreat all of those units except for one rifle. No reason for them to stay there. They're not going to take much. If Rue wants to take that oil derrick, he's going to take that oil derrick. I'm not going to be able to save it with 5 rifles.
On hold.
Just queuing up my rifles and rockets a little bit, but I have to pause them just because I know I'm a little bit early on that. I only got the 3 harvesters out right now. I could definitely restart it now, especially after this 4th ref comes out. I'll be totally fine. Get that ref onto the good natural thick core and move out that main MCV, since again I'm just gonna skip the SD and go for more light vehicles early on. Should have re-queued my infantry rally there. It's kind of accidentally routed to the top, but I'll figure it out in a second here. Yep, so the 2 rockets going away. Hey, wait, that's not right. Need those down there. Make sure really need those rockets. Having just 2 rockets, I think, in that bottom is kind of sucky. But MCV is in good position, give them the 2 more Raxes, and then power plant, and then a rest, since you can kind of crawl to that base. And that'll also give me just a little bit of protection if ATIX my main. I can just barely reach with the pillbox with that War Factor if I need to. But once again, Mo's very passive, so he's not going to attack me early on. It's kind of what I'm expecting anyways, just for him to kind of sit back. Send a rifle over there just to see if he's captured it or not, since I do have my engineer still. Got that Rax down, and just kind of deathballing again. Could have been doing a little bit better scouting with my ranger, and I kind of realize that now, but again, rust is going to be a pretty big factor in a lot of these games. At least still trying to get into my groove. Kill an APC here. Just barely going to get that last rocket away. The rocket got to Vet 2 instantly, so it probably had stuff in there. APC, probably rockets like that, I'm not entirely sure. Almost hit the ranger up top though, that's not great. But I do have 2 light tanks that'll go clean up those 10 stack for me, which will be nice. Gonna send the harvester back to the ref, because I don't want it to transfer with a full load, since it's just wasting money. And then send it over across. And I'm kind of just gonna build a second ref here just because I kind of need it. Especially on this map in particular. It's not as low eco as intensity is, but you can quickly dry up, especially when you expand the way I did. But fortunately not getting any crushes with those light tanks, they're just slowly poking away at those rifles. But the engineer's going to get the capture, which is nice, and I got my big death ball in the bottom. Still haven't built an SD, I've just built nothing but light tanks at this rate, which is, you know, nice to have the extra armor, but medium tanks are much better armor than light tanks. The only thing that light tanks have is the speed, which can help with mass crushing. Yeah, nothing else really going on right now, just slowly pushing in. Got an engineer, just protecting my back flank there. Some pillboxes ready just in case he wants to attack, but for some reason Mo is super light on rockets here, so I'm really happy to see that. And I'll just slowly push in. I got a bunch of light tanks there, which is really great. I could definitely just go into the pressures, but cook off a few of his rockets there, and the way he was retreating just made me expect that he'd have more army coming there anyways. Either it was at its expansion, which Rangers are going to go check out in a second after capture their obstacle, or he's down here in the corner. He was retreating back to his base. Either way, I'm moving to a safer area. But catch this rifle out right here, and I didn't see anything in the corner. Well, what little I did scout of it, so I assumed that he did not expand that way and expanded to the north, which is what my ranger's gonna go check. See a testicle right there, and I'm like, okay, I got more than enough light tanks to really deal with that. It's gonna get one shot off before it dies. So finally found his army, but once again he's still super light on rockets. He's killed one light tank that entire time and one testicle, so he's pushing in again. He's not got enough army there at all, actually. He's got 3 heavy tanks, but again, super light on the rockets, getting some really good crushes. Still have 1 tank left alive, and it's probably just going to die right about now. Nope, actually still alive, so I'm just going to go ahead and kill that SD because I can, since I know that testicle is to the north. And see if I can kill that power plant's low power run, but fortunately the light tank dies and the power plant does not put him low power, but at the same time, I'm going to capture that MCV if I can. And while I'm doing that, since my bottom attack is running out of steam, I'll just hit him into the expansion. I've got 4 more light tanks over there, and the 5th one's coming, so once again, good amount of armor, but I mean, tanks would have been better. Kills the engineer, unfortunately, but for some reason, my army in the bottom is still alive, and I think it's just because he pulled all of his army too far away. I'm going to keep sniping those power plants, since that's going to hurt him more and more. And I see a bunch of power plants here. I'm not really happy to get all 4 or 5 of those power plants. That's definitely going to put him low power, going to slow him down on his defenses and everything else. Minute 8, finally got that SD out, and that Ranger's actually going to go back and live. And then my top attack's actually kind of run out of steam. I think it's just because I really didn't have a whole lot there to begin with, but I did kill all of his harvesters, focusing again on the power plants and put him low power. I'm just going to focus on the MCV now. That should probably be the end of that. Somehow this bottom army rather is still going, kill another harvester there. So that was really fortunate. Mo's going to try to come in here again, but just doesn't have the density anymore. Light tanks get some decent crushes, but yeah, there's the GG. Just a lack of army macro is a big problem there for Motor, and I'll actually throw the graph up on the screen real quick. Yeah, it was pretty ugly looking there. You can see at 5 minutes, like, I'm super far ahead, and even like at 3 minutes, like, I think I'm starting to pull ahead, which is not great at all. So just a kind of a macro fail there for Mo. I think he can definitely play better, and I know I can play better too because I was rusty, so maybe there's a chance that he was just rusty too, which is totally possible. But that's going to be it for this week. We'll be back next week with more.